Morning, guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is the first of maybe 2 to 3 live streams today. Don't know how many. And of course, the Ahn Rho Project is a self-therapeutic psychiatric blah de blah. But I'm not going to continue on with too much. I'm just going to say that the introduction, if you would like that, is going to be made in a live stream or a video that I'm going to save, and I'll put the link in somewhere in the future. Or you can just check out on my channel, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're coming from, and you'll find the introduction in my previous live streams. But from now on, I'm just going to skip the introduction because I don't need to do it every single live stream anymore, and it's not serving my purpose very well if I have to constantly repeat myself. So we're just going to jump right into the content, what we have to cover. So if you take a look, what you see is what you get on the title on the stream. You have, of course, on the top right hand side, the name of the live streams right over there next to the photographs. Of course, the photographs also have a lot to do with what we're going to cover on this stream as well. So if you take a look, it does say something along the lines of groceries and snacks. HK standing for Hong Kong bakery that came down for COVID-19, as well as not because that they were contaminated, just because for safety reasons during lockdown. But also Taiwan cafe, as well as some I guess Canadian security things that I wanted to get towards, although I had to talk to that with a bit of confidentiality. But basically some stuff regarding communications, the government, also some bakery items, so some very cheap, some more lighthearted stuff, and then also food and groceries, including some garbage. So, and a lot of this will also have to do with photography. So what I'm going to do is going to take up the phone right now, and at least you have a good sense of what we're going to do in the first 5 minutes or so, first 5 to 10 minutes, first half of the stream. We're going to do a lot of photography, which is what you see right here. But then in the second half, we're going to actually move about in my room and try to clear the clutter, which you see in the top left hand side right now. I'm pointing right here so you can see my hand. There's a lot of garbage there. So that's what we're going to try to clear and do in this live stream is the plan. And without further ado, why don't we just get started? Oh, I forgot to mention, of course, that right here in the middle, I wanted to talk about these two almond cookie things as well. They are a cooked the baked item from one of my business partners, and I actually did some photo and video editing on it just to test myself and experiment a little bit. So it's very interesting, but we'll get to that in a second. All right. So with that being said, why don't we just start? And right now you can see in the middle we have these two screenshots here. Top one is actually a video, so why don't I say that says Kim's Recipes. That's my business partner, KM. I've spoken about her many times. She's a fantastic individual who constantly helps me out in the scientific research business as well as cellular nutrition. And I will say that, of course, she used some of the products that we sell to make that kind of almond cookie, and she sent me this photograph over on one of the apps. And so now that's not the top one, it's actually the one on the bottom. So why don't I take the bottom one right now, and what I'm going to do is just kind of drag it up and expand on that a little bit. So you can see it now. This is the original photograph that she had sent me, and that one actually, ooh, you can't actually see it that well because of the wonton. All right, so you can see it like this on a traditional plate. Very nice. I thought it was a very nice photograph, and I decided I wanted to play around with it and send it back to her. So what I did, I'm going to minimize this, is I'm going to now pull up mine that I turned into a video. And so this is the touched up photograph, and I was experimenting with a lot of effects that I hadn't been used to. That's why it says editor in the title. Of course, you can see that, once again, it's covered by the other photograph right there, so I'm going to try to get rid of it. Okay, so you can see that this one is a lot brighter. I tried to play around with the highlights as well as the shadows, trying to make the colors also complementary, so green and red, very good complementary colors. I would have liked to use more tertiary colors, but of course the photograph that she sent me has to do more with the reds. Maybe I should have stuck with the pinks. Now, of course, it was playing around the colors, the saturation, the hue. All this stuff is new to me. I don't know a lot about color theory. I'm not an artist. I'm a STEM-oriented person, scientific research development, that kind of person, and engineer. And so I was playing around with this, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And I sent it back to her, turning it into a bit of a GIF. So it's like, if I play it right now, I added some effects, some sparkling and snow effects, and there's some music you can hear, right? So I'm going to play it one more time. Basically, I added some music over it. It runs for 7 seconds. So that would be Claire Litley's, or before that, Perry Como or Frank Sinatra, "Fly Me to the Moon," and so that's a very classic. And so I played that over and I sent it back to her, and she really enjoyed that, and wanted me to actually share this amongst my friends. And I said, well, I mean, I'm not really that much of a social media person, but for her, she definitely took it and she shared it all across her entire friends groups. And I'm very glad if that, because it makes it seem like she has a business now. It says Kim's Recipes even. And I do have my insignia on the very bottom there to make sure that everything's tight. All right, so with that being said, it's a nice comparison. Added some music, the special effects, as well as brightening it up with the lighting, the hue, the saturation, playing with colors, experimenting with my skills, because I've not, I really honestly am very new to whole graphics design kind of thing. And it's just something handy to keep in mind that I can use now. So that was a bit longer than I like. Now I can get rid of these two photographs. Very proud of that one there. And then now we have to talk about the photographs. So there's going to be a lot of photographs now, roughly about 35, but not anywhere near as much as I used to have. And I'm going to turn this to the side. This is a depth food item. Basically, I've been trying to tone down on the amount of photographs I do. I think there are 4 methods I need to keep in mind in order to save myself a lot of time and headache. First of all, I don't need to be so nitpicky about the way I put photos on live stream. I talked about this yesterday's live stream actually. A second one is just to take fewer photographs and make sure that I don't take any meaningless shots. The third one would be to, of course, put them onto a platform and just link it to there on live stream, as opposed to putting so many like 150 photographs into a live stream, which is stupid. That's fucking waste of my time. Just put like maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, and then the rest just link it onto your Flickr account or whatever. When in the live stream, just mention it, put in the description of the live stream or whatever. And then there's a fourth thing that I forgot to mention, but of course, again, this is a bowl of wonton. We'll get to it very soon, in about the next 45 seconds. But the point is, there was one last method that I had forgotten to mention, and I believe, oh fuck, I forgot what it was. I forgot. How ironic, right? That's fine. What we'll do is I'm pretty sure it'll show up if I continue just rambling on about all this kind of stuff. So why don't we continue? This is about 35 photographs, right? So why don't we go depth food items right here. So we have wonton and green onions, and I ate these from my guardians yesterday. I'm not supposed to do that because it plays into my insecurities. Close-up shot, high angle aerial shot right now, you see close-up zoomed, and again, just going from different angles. This one's really close up. You can tell that I don't have high resolution on my phone. That's fine. It's a pretty old model. And then we have also this kind of from the side shot. I always like taking partial shots because it reminds me of a professional photography. They always try to do this kind of stuff. Now the thing is, obviously they haven't been touched up or anything, but that's all right. I don't intend on really uploading this anytime soon. Here are the noodles. So these are some Cantonese egg noodles. Wonton mean. That's all. That's what it is. Wonton mean. And then we have this and just more of it. Here's with the lid on, and again, like I said, plays into domestic household issues. I always feel in debt, and it plays into my insecurities, and I'm supposed to stop eating things that only make me feel awful. So that's my fault, and no one else is to blame for that. I just need to take control of my behavior and cut off the negative habits that are playing really badly into my life. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. So we're done that, about 15 photographs. Now let's move on. So that was in the title. You see wonton, like I said. Now we're going to talk about the groceries and snack items. So I went to Dollarama, and you can see here, I actually wanted to get to food basics and pick up some much healthier stuff, but I went to groceries way too late because I slept late and then woke up late, and because I was like fucking around with some administrative stuff regarding to this project, but a lot of other lesser important things too. So that's my fault. And instead, what we have here is I went to Dollarama instead, because by the time that I went to groceries, food basics was already filled up, lined up to around the block. It's a lockdown, so half capacity at stores. Point is, I had to go to Dollarama. I just picked up a bunch of snacks instead of any real groceries. So you can see these Inca brand chips, really cheap, $2. Doritos. This was trying it out. Flamin' hot nachos. I never tried this before. 149 grams, really cheap for $2. Same thing with Inca chips, just $1. And I would say that the main reasons why I purchased it, aside from pricing and just not having anything in stock to get groceries, you can see that the nutritional facts here. Okay, so for the Doritos, I just never tried it. That's why I bought it. And the Inca chips, the basically plantain chips. I just bought because, I might as well get something at least that has some substantial fiber, as well as just to counteract the high amount of sodium either. At the end of the day, these are snack items. They're not healthy in any way. And I thought this is kind of funny here. I always take photographs of where they come from, and this one comes from Peru. So interesting. All right. So at the same time, there were a few other items you can see in the room. We're gonna get to that in a second. I didn't take photographs of these because they are repeat purchases. I purchased and shown them before, so they're not new items. And so the Reese's Pieces, as well as the Breton crackers right there, we'll get to in a second. Now, with that being said, at the same time that I was picking out the dollar store, I also passed by this. So you see in the title, it does say Hong Kong and Taiwan. So Hong Kong and Taiwan. So Taiwan, this is a Taiwanese fruit tea. If I can read that, I'm not sure. I can see that there is an insignia right there. So you can see that the two red little right in the middle, at the dead center, the red and white. In Chinese, that actually, when I was up close, I could read it. It said "Chan Ga." So that's basically saying the Chan family, and so that must be the founders, the owners of this particular cafe business. So that's pretty interesting. And it's newly set up. I always find it to be interesting to take a look at how Taiwanese and Hong Kong and Singaporean businesses that start up in the new shopping malls that we have here. It's a nice traditional Chinese kind of feel. I always appreciate hardworking, disciplined people in general, and so it's a real contrast from what we have in current day China, because obviously traditional versus the communist China party. So there are very different beliefs there, and I'm not going to get political about that. That's just basically some differences. And I noticed that was a new restaurant that came up, so I showed that. Here's another one. This one's from a Hong Kong bakery, and this was I have that photograph here. Here's in traditional Chinese and in English as well. Again, a bakery that I really, really like. I have nothing but positive things to say about the Brothers Bakery. Fantastic, very family-oriented, little rundown business, and I'm sure they've been doing business for at least 20, 30 years now since they arrived. Now the point is, it's always usually bustling, but now it's closed down temporarily just because of the whole COVID-19 thing. Like I said, it's not like they're contaminated or anything. It's actually more to do with the fact they're in lockdown. The whole province is on lockdown right now. So with that notice there, and I hope to see them open again soon. So that's that. And then last but not least, okay, so I have about a minute and a half left. I got through all the photographs. There's one last thing I want to talk about before we start covering all the garbage here. And you do see on the top right-hand side, it does say Canadian Defense Mining, whatever. The Canadian mining thing has to do with the fact that one of the companies that I've invested in has done some things that I'm not so happy with. And in terms of, I can't really do anything about that. But in terms of, I believe it to be a national security concern. And so I'm gonna do a little bit of small outreach, I guess, if I can, to get in touch with maybe just a local municipality, something like that, just like a small run government kind of thing, and then just see if I can just give a little heads up there. And so it has a little bit with, I guess, defense or national security. But with that being said, that's all I have to say about that. I can't go into too much detail. Obviously, it's very private. Now, the most important thing here, we have a lot of garbage here. You can see the Reese's Pieces, the garbage. I have about 50 seconds to cover this all. The point is, basically, what I would do is, this is not finished yet, so I'm going to take this and leave it here. Actually, you see the bowl of oatmeal I cooked up. And again, I ate all this stuff so that I could take my supplements. But this one's not finished. The chips are finished here. So what I'm going to do, you can see all these Reese's Pieces garbage, and I'm going to take all this stuff here as well. I'm going to shove it inside this bag, inside this plantains chips bag. The Reese's Pieces, this one, same thing as well. I can take out the Reese's Pieces from inside that I haven't eaten, which is just like maybe 3 or 4, and then the rest goes in here garbage. And I'll take it, move it over to the side over there for garbage, and put it in probably inside this bag too, which I'm almost done, this Doritos chips. That'll be the next live stream, so continue with the content in about 10 minutes. See you there.